For the rest of my day, Lord, much like the air I breathe. Heavenly Father, you're truly a friend indeed. There is so much that I got to say. I could go on about you every day. Your name I will always praise for the rest of my days. Rest of my days. Rest of my days. Heavenly Father, yeah. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, you move them all away. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, you move them all away. Your grace.
Well, good afternoon to my listeners and viewers. Welcome to Rebel Radio. And I want to thank you very much for joining us. Well, you know, we have to continue the discussion on constitutional reform. That's one of the things that we want to discuss today. And as usual, you know, we have your plate, your agenda filled with nourishing mental food. And we want to start our discussion this afternoon with well-known public commentator Lucius White. Good afternoon, Lush.
Good afternoon, David.
Yes. Well, the constitutional debate is on, and we cannot afford to allow this debate to pass by idly. You would have seen where the opposition leader is saying that the president, the selection of the president cannot just depend on the prime minister appointing somebody and consulting with him, or the prime minister appointing the prime minister and then consulting with the opposition leader. No. He's saying that you must have 2/3 of the vote in both the lower and the upper house. And as you know, no party, no government can have 2/3 or has 2/3 of the vote in the Senate. They don't have that. So what is your take on the process, the selection process?
No, you're only partially right on that last statement.
Yes.
In the present arrangement,
Yes.
the upper house, the government would not be able to get 2/3 majority without somebody from the opposition voting with them.
Yes, yes.
But, in the event that the arrangement of the upper house is changed, so rather than appointing people to the upper house, you vote for people to enter the upper house.
Mm.
You could have a situation where more than the government has more than 2/3 majority.
Yes, but that would require a change in the existing arrangement, voting arrangement that we have, because right?
Yes, and this is why I point out this is that we are in a state of constitutional reforms in which matters such as that could be drawn in. It is like how matters relating to the Charter of Rights is being drawn into the present arrangement of so-called constitutional reform.
Yes.
When the primary objective is to remove His Majesty as head of state. Now, when you draw in those changes, you can end up with situations for which people did not bargain. But by then, it will be too late. So it has got to be made clear from now exactly what we are going into. Because when somebody comes with the referendum agenda and tell you you're voting to remove His Majesty, and everybody will say yes. But in addition to that, they have the other clauses down the bottom that is going to make you under perpetual state of emergency, because the executive authority will now have the right not to be subjected to parliamentary supervision, but it's under the executive authority. All of these things need to be clarified. And to simplify the matter, what ought to be brought to the table is really an amendment as is required by the Constitution when you are to remove His Majesty, and that be dealt with as an exclusive matter with no other extraneous matter, because you're going to have a situation where matters are brought in that the people are not really neither aware of. And some very serious things can and will happen when that happens.
Yes,
because what is going on at present is a situation where the public is being confused to some extent and being misled in other extent. And you are going to have a situation where, rather than clarity arising out of the constitutional change, you're going to get confusion.
Well, but you see, Lucy, one of the things that you and I are doing right now is that, for example, the existing constitution needs to be Jamaicanized.
Yeah.
And there are things in that constitution which will have to be changed.
Yes.
Along with severance of our relationship with the monarchy, there are some items in there which has to be removed.
Like what? Like what?
Well, for example, I don't have it. I don't remember have it right in front of me right now. But I will bring it up again. But the main point I'm making is this: that whatever changes are to be made, they cannot be made in isolation. You know, one of the things that we are doing right now is to have the people, the full participation of the people. This was not the case when the existing constitution was written, you know.
Even though Desmond, there is no attempt to get the people involved.
No, you see, hold on.
What is a farce.
No, hold on.
You appoint a committee that has no bearing with anybody other than the executive that appoint them.
No, but hold a second. I spoke to Dr. Barnett last week.
Yeah.
One of the things I heard from the committee is they announce some plans to interact with the public. They announce some meetings in Montego Bay, I think in Portland, right? And meeting with groups. Now, one of the reasons, the reason for this discussion and this discussion is to ensure that the public participate in this discussion in a fulsome way. It's not something that we are going to be sitting down and waiting and begging for, you know. We are demanding it.
Desmond, I don't think you at this stage you take these announcements about participation serious, because it's the same way with the environment. When you're supposed to have consultation, you don't have any. You have one little meeting or one little spot, and the next thing you hear that the people were consulted. Yet then there's no consultation. What they do is come and tell you what they're doing and move on.
Yes.
If you're talking about participation, these meetings must be held all throughout the country.
Yes, of
and
course.
let the people talk.
Yes.
When you have one town hall meeting in our parish, and you have one town hall meeting, and people line up, and you talk for about 1 second, and you move on. Someone move on. This is a farce.
Yes.
What they are intending to do is to force down the truth. The things that the so-called Constitutional Reform Committee and them concoct and force to force down the people's truth. And this is why it is important that those who take this thing seriously do not quietly sit and let this go by as if it is going to be all right. It is not. And this argument about participation, when no attempt up to now has been made to get the public involved, and if what they have done repeatedly with the environmental situation that calls for consultation, and if they go ahead and do it here again, it's just a repeat.
Yes, yes. No,
If we are to take Dr. Barnett and everybody seriously, what I expect them to do is to tell us the different areas in each parish that they are going to have meetings, the date and the format. Just don't come and tell you're going to have a town hall meeting. Then you've seen the paper on Tuesday that on Friday there's going to be a town hall meeting. And when you go there, the officials them talk out the time, and the public participation is restricted to those who they can identify. So they are allowed to speak, and the other one is told to hold on a minute, wait until you hear, well, the time is up, and thank you for having participated. It is farcical, it is hypocritical, and it is extremely dangerous, and I'm calling upon the people at this point to demand that they be properly engaged, and you cannot do it from a position of ignorance where already the minister in charge of constitutional affairs have announced that she's ready to bring bill to parliament because there's consensus. In other words, the people have been taken for a ride. And I am disappointed that the opposition seems to be going along with it too, because it is not being vociferous enough in coming to the public and say this is where we stand.
They might not, but I heard, for example, I heard the leader of the opposition pointing out where the party stand in Parliament. That was Tuesday.
Yeah, but him can't stop at Parliament.
And I heard
this is the problem, there's one.
And I heard him.
This is involving the people throughout, and you make a speech in Parliament which is may not even be reported. And certainly, this is a matter where you have to go out to the grassroots. You must be in contact with the people. And not through no Twitter announcement or Facebook announcement, and then you hear that there's participation by poll. All of these are farcical and hypocritical means of taking away rights from the people which are already in our constitution, which they are going to amend and call it the reform. They are reforming the Constitution, reform out your rights, and the people must recognize there is absolutely nothing in the Constitution that requires anything in the Charter of Rights to be amended. And it ought not to come up into this at all. And this matter about Jamaicanizing. Jamaicanizing, fine, but it don't mean a few people take on to themselves the authority to speak to everybody. The time has come for people who are serious about Jamaica, the democratization of the Constitution, to recognize that there is a very dangerous plot on foot. And if you look already, some people want to make amendments which will alter the situation with the Auditor General, which is a protected position. When you're hearing about changing the entrenched sections of the Constitution, you don't need any of those in order to remove the king, you know. But when you start to deal with matter where you're changing the entrenched section of the Constitution protect the Auditor General, the DPP, and the judiciary, and when you start changing that, and you're getting more power to the executive, you are laying the ground to make legal what currently is not legal in the Constitution.
Yes. So
we better be careful what we are organizing, and the people must recognize all that any of the other section they want to change, other than change the king at this time, must be dealt with in detail. And if you pack up a whole heap of little things that you want to Jamaicanize, what you are going to do is create an authoritarian state, and you end up with something like what is happening in Sudan, where one day the army take over and people within the army start to fight as to who's to rule. And that is going to happen in Jamaica if we don't wake up.
Yes.
Because we are strengthening the organization of the military in the city, in all of the situation, and it only take a matter of time for somebody ambitious inside there for grab on to power. So we better be careful. What we have can be amended and ought to be amended. But if we're not careful to protect what we have, we lose what we have to get something that we really don't want.
Yes, I agree with you. And that is why it is important for discussions to be held with the people.
Extremely important. You let somebody anybody from the so-called Reformation Committee come and tell me why is it anything at all to do with the Charter of Rights, anything at all to do with the entrenched position of whether the Auditor General, the DPP, or the judiciary should come up in this situation. Let them explain why they want to change.
No, but I haven't heard that. But I haven't heard that. I haven't heard them saying that they are going to be dealing with those entrenched positions. I don't hear that from the committee.
Well, you put your ears a little nearer to the ground, and this is about going to Parliament with a bill. What bill? They have not discussed anything with anybody.
Well,
up to now, nothing has been discussed with the people. You know?
That is for the referendum. Remember, you know, you need a referendum to.
Yes, but we need a referendum. But what are they going to carry on the referendum?
Well,
that is, if you're not discussing anything with the people, you're not going to carry the referendum.
No, well, first of all,
the foolishness that they will write in the referendum and then tell you that is that you vote for.
But you see, that is one of the things why we need public education. Because remember, the Jamaican people have one experience in dealing with the referendum. right now, a significant number of the Jamaican people don't understand what is a referendum. So we need to educate them about that. So the bill that they are talking about to be taken to Parliament, that is a bill to address deal with the referendum issue. That is what. But the point that I am making is that you need public education, public discourse in everything about all the discourse about the reformation of the Constitution.
So when they reach the stage where you have bill of parliament and you have meeting with the people, it tells you that they have a foregone conclusion and a strategy. Oh, what they put before the people eventually, is you either vote for this or you vote for that. This is when we change the king, you get this as the package.
Yes.
And since everybody wants to get rid of the king, or most people want to get rid of the king, most people going to vote to get rid of the king. And it's then the later on they're going to realize that it wasn't only the king they vote for against, but they really vote for a situation that take away rights that now exist. Yes. And this is why these things must be discussed before anybody talk about any bill going to Parliament.
Yes.
What is supposed to go before Parliament is what has been discussed with the people, and there's consensus at that level.
Okay. I'm in agreement with you. But so, what we'll have to do, or what we at Rebel Radio is doing, we are doing everything within our powers and out of our powers to ensure that the public is involved in full discourse into these matters. We can't allow. So what I will say is that we'll have to continue this discussion.
But before you go,
yeah,
you remember when Ministry of Finance and BOJ wanted to promote a particular line and the pay big ads with the music and the bass line?
Yes.
And anybody making any bass line music to tell the people what they are going to get when them start fooling them Charter of Rights and call it reformation.
Yes.
You see, the public at large is widely accepting the removal of the king. I am among them. But the public at large is not being informed of what else is proposed along with the removal of the king. Okay. So some people will quickly say to you, well, the king don't really matter because he's not here troubling you and anything, and them don't change anything that you say.
Right.
And on the surface, that sounds all right.
Yeah. Well, Lucius, listen, we have to go now.
All right.
As I said, we will to be continued.
Good.
Okay, that was public commentator Lucius White.
All right, okay.
Talking about the constitutional reform. We are going to take a short break. This is Rebel Radio.
Will bring sweet harmony. Then it will bring out the love, bring out the love, bring out all the love in me. My love is deeper than the ocean. Our love is in need of sweet devotion. Because you got the portion to bring out the love in me, and I will bring out the love in you. Let the lover in you touch the lover in me, and the rebel in me will touch the rebel in you. then it will bring out the love, bring out the love, bring out all the love in us. Bring out the love. Said I want to bring out the love. Bring out the love. Said I want to bring out the love. Bring out the love. Bring out the love. Bring out all the love. Bring out the rebel. Said I want to bring out the rebel. Bring out the rebel.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash no paper, no dash no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep we
eat.
island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
The rebel in me can touch the rebel in you, and the rebel in you
Get that the rebel in me.
and the rebels we be
It's gonna set us free. Then it will bring out the rebel, bring out the rebel, bring out the rebel in me.
Hello? Lloydie? What is that in your... Are you there? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, all right. What? There's a screeching sound in your background there. I don't know what is that. I don't know why I lose him.
Something about him for the man.
Let me try to get him again.
deeper than the ocean. Our love is in need of sweet devotion.
Hello? Hello?
You got the portion to bring out the love in me, and I will bring out the love in you. Let the lover in you touch the lover in me, and the rebel in me will touch the rebel in you. And the love is will bring sweet harmony. My love is deep. rebel in you, and the rebel in you can touch a rebel in me, and the rebels we be is gonna set us free. Then it will bring out the rebel, bring out the rebel, bring out the rebel in me. If the lover in you can touch the lover in me, and the lover in me can touch a lover in you, and the lovers we be will bring sweet harmony. Bring out all the love in me. My love is deeper than the ocean.
Hello.
Our love is in need of sweet devotion. Come on, because bring out the love in me, and I will bring out the love in you. Let the lover in you touch the lover in me, and the rebel in me, rebel in you, and the lovers we be will bring sweet harmony. Then it will bring out the love, bring out the love, bring out all the love in us. My love is deeper than the ocean. Our love is in need of sweet devotion. Come on, because you got the notion to bring out the love in me, and I will bring out the love in you. Let the rebel in me touch the rebel in you, and the rebel in you will touch a rebel in me, and the lovers we be will bring sweet harmony. Then it will bring out the love, bring out the love, bring out all the love in us. Bring out the love. Said I wanna bring out the love. Bring out the love. Said I wanna bring out the love. Bring out the love. Bring out the love. Bring out all the love. Bring out the rebel. Said I wanna bring out the rebel. Bring out the rebel. If the rebel in me can touch the rebel in you, and the rebel in you can touch a rebel in me, and the rebels we be is gonna set us free. Then it will bring out the rebel, bring out the rebel, bring out the rebel in me. If the lover in you can touch the lover in me, and the lover in me can touch a lover in you, and the lovers we be will bring sweet harmony. Then it will bring out the love, bring out the love, bring out all the love in me. I wanna bring out the love. Bring out the love. Said I wanna bring out the love. Bring out the love. Bring out the love. Bring out all the love. Bring out the rebel. Said I wanna bring out the rebel. Bring out the rebel.
If the rebel in me can touch the rebel in you, and the rebel in you
Can touch a rebel in me.
and the rebels we be,
It's gonna set us free. Then it will bring out the rebel. Bring out the rebel. Bring out the rebel in me.
if the lover in you can touch the lover in me, and the lover in me
Can touch a lover in you.
and the lovers we be,
Will bring sweet harmony. Then it will bring out the love. Bring out the love. Bring out all the love in me. My love is deeper than the ocean. Our love is in need of sweet devotion. Come on, because you got the portion to bring out the love in me, and I will bring out the love in you. Let the lover in you
touch the lover in me, and the rebel in me
will touch a rebel in you.
and the lovers we be,
Will bring sweet harmony. Then it will bring out the love. Bring out the love. Bring out all the love in us. My love is deeper than the ocean. Our love is in need of sweet devotion. Come on, because you got the notion to bring out the love in me, and I will bring out the love in you. Let the rebel in me.
and the rebel in you,
Will touch a rebel in me.
and the lovers we be,
Will bring sweet. And it will bring out the love. Bring out the love. Bring out all the love in us. Bring out the love. Said I wanna bring out the love. Bring out the love. Said I wanna bring out the love. Bring out the love. Bring out the love. Bring out all the love. Bring out the rebel. Said I wanna bring out the rebel. Bring out the rebel.
Do it for your best life. Do it. Go check your HIV status. Do it. So keep your life trending, no pretending. Me I tell yourself it, do it for you, do it for you. Every time you a link with a condom, coulda Ozzy, coulda wife, coulda be a random. Condom connect and protect your profile. Be your own fan, do it for your best life. Do it for your best life. Do it. Don't put yourself at risk. Condom connect every time. Do it for your best life. Do it.
Touch the rebel in you, and the rebel in you
Can touch a rebel in me,
and the rebels we be
it's gonna set us free. Then it will bring out the rebel, bring out the rebel, bring out the rebel in me.
if the lover in you can touch the lover in me, and the lover in me
Can touch a lover in you,
and the lovers we be
will bring sweet harmony. Then it will bring out the love, bring out the love, bring out all the love in me. My love is deeper than the ocean. Our love is in need of sweet devotion. Come on, because you got the portion to bring out the love in me, and I will bring out the love in you. Let the lover in you
touch the lover in me, and the rebel in me
will touch a rebel in you.
and the lovers we be
Will bring sweet harmony. Then it will bring out the love, bring out the love, bring out all the love in us. My love is deeper than the ocean. Our love is in need of sweet devotion. Come on, because you got the notion to bring out the love in me, and I will bring out the love in you. Let the rebel in me
touch the rebel in you, and the rebel in you
will touch a rebel in me,
and the lovers we be
will bring sweet harmony. Then it will bring out the love, bring out the love, bring out all the love in us. Bring out the love. Said I wanna bring out the love. Bring out the love. Said I wanna bring out the love. Bring out the love. Bring out the love. Bring out all the love. Bring out the rebel. Said I wanna bring out the rebel. Bring out the
if the rebel in me
He's always there for me. Yeah. So no matter what the circumstances, baby, no, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. So I met this old man. He was so poor. He's always smiling, never heard him complain. He said I've proven God again and again. So no matter what the circumstances may be, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. No matter what the circumstances may be, yeah, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the good times or through the bad, through the happy times or through the sad, God is always there for me. The landlord wears the rent, school fee too, partner draw bonds, and the youth them need you. Friends all ask me what I'm gonna do. I smile and tell them that God will see me through. So no matter what the circumstances may be, yeah, God is always there for me. Yeah, through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. So no matter what the circumstances may be, God is always there for me. Yeah, through the good times or through the bad, through the happy times or through the sad, God is always there for me. I met this old man, he was so poor. He didn't hold a bed, so he slept on the floor. He's always smiling, I never heard him complain. He said I've proven God again and again. So no matter what the circumstances may be, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. No matter what the circumstances may be, no, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the good times or through the bad, through the happy times or through the separate me from your love, my Jesus. Nothing will be able to turn me away from you. I love you, Father. Anyhow, the afflictions of the righteous, the hearts of men getting more and more vicious. Brutality is on the increase. Tell me, when the love of God sees no power on earth to separate me from your love, my Jesus, nothing will be able to turn me away from you. I love you, Father. This level of crime, only love can eradicate. We must demand justice from the church and the state, and confess to God all our evil ways, and He will give us so much better days.
Yes. This is when we are supposed to do be sure. This is when we are supposed to be sure. And let me try and get our are you there, Mr. Brim? No.
He's always smiling, never heard him complain. He said I've proven God again and again. So no matter what the circumstances may be, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. No matter what the circumstances may be, yeah. God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the good times or through the bad, through the happy times or through the sad, God is always there for me. The landlord wears the rent, school fee due, partner to our bonds, and the youth them need you. Friends all ask me what I'm gonna do. I smile and tell them that God will see me through. So no matter what the there for me. I met this old man, he was so poor, he didn't hold a bed, so we slept on the floor.
Yes, welcome back to Rebel Radio. And at this time, we want to deal with Be Sure. I don't know what is happening with me and that phone connection there at all. But I'm not getting through to my guest. Let me try one more time.
Can touch a lover in you, and the lovers we be will bring sweet harmony. Then it will bring out the love, bring out the love, bring out all the love in me. My love is deeper than the ocean. Our love is in need of sweet devotion. Come on, because you got the portion to bring out the love in me, and I will bring out the love in you. Let the lover in you touch the lover in me.
Yes, as my listeners and viewers, this is time for Be Sure on a Monday. And we have with us our experienced insurance salesman, Mr. Lloyd Brim. Lloyd, how are you?
I'm good, very good.
Yes. Glad to have you. And we have been educating our listeners and viewers about how to be sure in time of emergency.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I think we would want to discuss this evening is, let us tell us, Lloydie, what are the provisions? What kind of provisions do the insurance companies, in other words, we know they offer mortgages, but explain how insurance clients can benefit from mortgages from the insurance companies. I also know that the insurance companies are also involved in some housing development. You want to tell us, how policy holders can benefit from these housing provisions?
Okay. Good evening to you and your listeners. And just to recap, in earlier years, one insurance company had started a policy specifically towards accumulating deposits on a housing unit, and also providing coverage that the policyholder could use to secure the mortgage. That's one way. It was aimed specifically at that, and all the investment was about accumulating the deposit. Today, that provision where it is specifically for housing is no longer the case. But as it is now, the insurance companies are heavily investing in housing developments, and I might as well hit it straight that it's for housing development at the higher levels.
Okay. Yes. I see. So it's for the as you said, the higher end, not the working class units.
Aware of, although housing trust, the last scheme that housing trust did, it was
30 odd million.
thank you very much, sir. It was at the upper end,
Yes.
going up, on the scale. You with me?
Yes. 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 We are aware of that.
Right.
So you are saying that the insurance companies, that is where they are putting their investment in housing.
In housing, yes, that's where, because if you drive through New Kingston, for example, and you drive at Guardian Life, you will see some apartments.
Yes, just above Guardian Life there.
And well, the other insurance company, that is just two now, Sagicor, they also have their investments in upscale housing. So that's where it is now. But as a policy holder, you can still buy insurance using a particular policy that is focused at accumulating whether deposits for real estate, accumulating enough to make your pension fund worth it, and any goal that you have of accumulating some money. There is a policy specifically designed for accumulating money for these specific purposes, pensions, mortgage deposits, and of course, when you accumulate the money, you can use it for whatever the need is at the time. But if you're focusing on your mortgage deposit for your mortgage, or deposit or education, just to accumulate funds for a set purpose, you can buy that. But it's not tied in to the housing, because the one I'm referring to, when that policy came, it carried an investment element in it, and that investment element was all the funds went into the real estate activities, and the policyholders could apply for units. I think Christian Penn was one of the examples, one of the projects from that policy proceeds at that time. Today, the insurance companies, they have their investment division, and the investment division invests in many areas, but heavily into real estate, as people are now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I see. Okay, so well, I'm sure that there are clients who can afford, because, for example, those units, those 30 odd million dollar units that were built by the housing trust, they are sold off. So there's a market for those units also.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And the companies are into it as an investment to meet up to the promised returns policyholders were asked to look on in making their decision.
Yes.
Buying policies.
Yeah.
It's definitely an area that, and of course the policyholder would benefit as well, because the investment on their policies, the return would come from The return would come from the profit and the quality.
Yes. I recall the last time we spoke, you were talking how you had raised the issue. We never completed about protecting investments. But you could you elaborate on that now?
Well, we can look at it from two angles, Desmond. We can look at it as protecting investment. In this case, you look at it from protecting the investment in the real estate, which means you would have to advisedly insure the building and content. Make sure that you are safe in the event you have any disaster. You know what general insurance covers?
Yes.
The life insurance aspect covers you as the mortgager. If you die or if you have it properly structured, you become disabled, any such thing, some lump sum cash would come in to the mix to tide you over. So to be sure, you would put those things in place to protect your investment. And of course, the value.
You have 1 minute remaining on this call.
Yes.
The real estate piece is also a plus for your investment, because sometimes you cannot buy big.
I tell you what to do.
That you want.
I tell you what to do. Hang up and let me call you back. Hang up and let me. Just hang up. Yeah.
Come and tell it to the Lord. He's a problem solver. He's a burden bearer. I'm feeling happy. I found my Lord. So I beg you, wash me, Jesus, wash me. Wash me in your blood. Wash me, Jesus, wash me. And let me whiter than snow, Lord. Wash me, Jesus, wash me. Wash me in your blood. I'm feeling happy. I found my Lord. If you are sick, tell it to Jesus. He's a mighty healer. If you are blind, tell it to Jesus. He can make you see, brother man. If you are dumb, tell it to Jesus. He can make you speak. He can cure any sickness, even the terrible cancer. So I beg you, wash me, Jesus, wash me. Wash me in your blood. Wash me, Jesus, wash me. And let me whiter than snow, Lord. Wash me, Jesus, wash me. Wash me in your blood. I'm feeling happy. I found my Lord. If you are sick, tell it to Jesus. He's a mighty healer. If you are dumb, tell it to Jesus. He can make you speak, brother man. If you are blind, tell it to Jesus. He can make you sing. He can cure any sickness, even the terrible cancer. So I beg you, wash me, Jesus, wash me. Continue, wash me in your blood. Wash me, Jesus, wash me. And let me whiter than snow, Lord. Wash me, Jesus, wash me. Wash me in your blood. I'm feeling happy. I found my Lord. So I beg you, wash me, Jesus, wash me. Wash me in your blood. Wash me, Jesus, wash me. And let me whiter than
Hey, it's a girl Shensia with a message to you from myself and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Shen Yangs, everyone say wear a mask, where the numbers drop. I don't want COVID, lay you down flat. Nose and mouth, you fi cover up that. Oh, 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 oh. Sanitize or get hospitalized. Fight the virus, then fight for your life, yeah. Nobody talk about say you no response no more. Don't be reckless, cause you test us, so you not have it. You can still get the virus from somebody. Don't be reckless, cause you test us, so you not have it. You can still get the virus. So keep the numbers down. Protect yourself and the people you're around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Keep the numbers down. Protect yourself and the people you're around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive.
Jesus, we never know I saw you sweet. Never know I saw you sweet.
Lord Almighty, there is no power on earth to separate me from your love, my Jesus. Nothing will be able to turn me away from your. I love you, Father. Anyhow, the afflictions of the righteous, the hearts of men getting more and more vicious. Brutality is on the increase. Tell me, when the love of God sees no power on earth to separate me from your love, my Jesus, nothing will be able to turn me away from you. I love you, Father. This level of crime, only love can eradicate. We must demand justice from the church and the state, and confess to God all our evil ways, and He will give us so much better days when we show love to each and every brother. Love will return to protect mother, daughter, sister. Let's hope in our heart to those who are in need, who never receive love. Come, let's sow some seed. No power on earth to separate me from your love, my Jesus. Nothing will be able to turn me away from you. I love you, Heavenly Father. No power on earth to separate me from your. I love you, my Jesus. Nothing will be able to turn me away from yours. No, 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 no power on earth to separate me from yours. No power, no, oh no, nothing will be able to turn me away from you. No, no, no,
No power on earth.
Jamaica.
Best decision ever.
Feel the sand between your toes and the gentle waves of the sea on your skin. Feel the warm Jamaican breeze lift your spirits and nourish your soul. Escape to exactly what makes your heart beat. You will love every moment. Jamaica, Heartbeat of the world. Let's go.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty of Jamaica. No dirty of Jamaica. No dirty of Jamaica. No dirty of Jamaica.
A broken vessel that God can't make. The thief was down to his last breath, hanging there and can't breathe. When he turned to the master and said, Lord have mercy on me, he was just a broken vessel. Then Jesus washed away his sins, 'cause there's not a broken vessel that God can make. Oh, there's not a broken vessel God can't make. Yeah. When the whole world turns its back on you, Jesus will be your friend. He will pick up all the pieces, time and time again. 'Cause there's not a broken vessel that God can't make. Lord Almighty, Jesus sees the potter, and we are just the clay. And even when the vessel is broken, he won't throw the clay away. Bring him all of your burdens, your troubles and your sins, 'cause there's not a broken vessel Almighty God can make. Yeah, yeah. There's not a broken vessel that God can make. Yeah, yeah. When the whole world turns its back on you, Jesus will always be your friend. He will pick up all the pieces, time and time again. 'Cause there's not a broken vessel that God can't make. Yeah, yeah. There's not a broken vessel that God can make. Yeah. When the whole world turns its back on you, Jesus will always be your friend. He will pick up all the pieces, time and time again. 'Cause there's not a broken vessel God can't even walk without you holding my hand. I thought number one would surely be me. I thought I could be what I wanted to be. I thought of myself as a mighty big man, but I can't even walk without you holding my hand. Thank you, Jesus. Can't even walk without you holding my hand. Mountains too high and the valley is too wide. On my knees, I've learned to stay. That I can't even walk without you holding my have made Jesus my one and all. From now on this day, I'm surely gonna call.
You're hearing me?
Yeah, I hear you at midnight.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
That never cut off. I don't know.
I thought of myself as somebody big man, but I can't even walk without you holding my hand. Can't even walk without you holding my hand. The mountain is too high and the valley is too wide. Down on my knees, I've learned to stay. Can't even walk without you holding my hand. Lord have mercy. Can't even walk without you holding my hand. The mountain is too high and the valley is too wide. Down on my knees, I've learned to stay. Can't even walk without you holding my hand.
You see, right now, I just got me a deal with there. So what I want my friend George Looks?
Why, Richie Steven, with us there I give the Almighty praises.
And the best thing that, cause when I remember just where I am coming from,
To where I'm standing now,
fell to my knees in praise of your name.
thanking you, Lord, every step of the way.
Oh, Father, you know I love you. done for me. You bless my life in so many ways. Oh, I will never ever leave you out. I won't be ungrateful to you, my Lord. I know that this world is all in your hands. We are your children, and so we give you praise. Oh, Father, you know I love you. You touch my heart, my soul, with your mercy. I thank you, my Lord, for all you've done for me. You bless my life in so.
Lord, I'm ready. Lord, I'm ready. I'm ready. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, you move them all away. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, you move them all away. Your grace is all that carries me. Through the dark, you shine your light so I could see. Even when I was down on my knees, you set me free. Lord, you've been my shield from my enemies. In your loving home, that's where I got to be. To stay within your grace for the rest of my day. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, you move them all away. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, oh gosh, you move them all away. Lord, I turn to you when I'm in need. Your love is just like the air I breathe. Heavenly Father, you're truly a friend indeed. There is so much that I got to say. I could go on about you every day. Your name I will always praise for the rest of my days. Rest of my days. Rest of my days. Heavenly Father, yeah. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, you move them all away. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, you move them all away. Your grace is all that carries me. Through the dark, you shine your light so I could see. Even when I was down on my knees, you set me free there. Lord, you've been my shield from my enemies. In your loving home, that's where I got to be. To stay within your grace for the rest of my day. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, you move them all away. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, you move them all away.
Do it for your best life. Wait. Go check your HIV status. Wait. So keep your life trending, no pretending. Me I tell yourself it, do it for you, do it for you. Every time you are link with a condom. Coulda husband, coulda wife, coulda be a random. Condom connect and protect your profile. Be your own fan, do it for your best life. Do it for your best life. Do it. Don't put yourself at risk. Condom connect every time. Do it for your best life.
I've had many tears and sorrows, questions for tomorrow. There's been time I didn't know right from wrong, but in every situation, God gave me consolation that my trials come to make me strong. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His words. I've been to lots of places, seen so many faces. There were times I felt so all alone, but in my lonely hours, those special hours, Jesus let me know that I am His own. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His words. I thank God for the mountains, thank Him for the valleys, thank Him for the storms He brought me through. 'Cause if I didn't have problems, I wouldn't know that God could solve them. I wouldn't know what faith in God could do. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His word. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff that comfort me. Though the wicked will come upon me to eat up my flesh, they will stumble and fall. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to put my trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His word. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to put my trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His word. What is to be will be. Come me just a come, and me no want no botheration. Come me just a come, and me no want no botheration. Come me just a come, me said that come, me just a come. No want no botheration. Oh, come me just a come. Come me just a come. And me no want no botheration. To hear Jordan roll, roll Jordan roll, roll Jordan roll. I want to go to heaven when I die, just to hear River Jordan roll. My soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. One bright morning, when this life is over, I fly away home. Home on God's celestial shore. Fly away home. Fly away home to glory. Fly away home. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, fly away home. Fly away home to glory. Fly away home. When I die, glory, hallelujah, by and by, fly away home. Fly away home. I will fly, yeah, fly away home. I will fly, I will fly away home. sweet, sweet the sound that sings of red like me. I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. Was grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did the grace I believe I first believed. Are you with me? So amazing grace, how sweet, sweet the sound that sings a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, joy and sneers, I have already become. For was grace that brought me safe this far, and the grace God in the day is still God in the night. Life is easy when you're on top of the mountain. You've got peace of mind like you never know. Yeah, but things change when you're down in the valley. Don't lose faith, for you're never alone. For the God on the mountain is still God in the valley. When things goes wrong, He'll make them right. And God of the good times is still God in the bad times. The God in the day is still God in the night. Talk of faith when you're on top of the mountain. But talk them easy when life at its best. But it's down in the valley of trials and temptation.
Yes, welcome back to Rebel Radio. And at this time, you know, it is workers' time, and we have with us President Eileen Davis White of the Joint Trade Union Council. Mrs. White, good afternoon.
Afternoon. It's Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions.
Thanks for the correction. Jamaica Confederation of Trades Union. I am a bit distorted this moment. Yes, so over the last 2 weeks, I see where the unions have been talking to the government, the Ministry of Finance, a number of, let me call them irregularities. In some cases, the ministry took unilateral decisions to suspend the payment of allowances, the payment of monies that has been paid to the government workers for years. And I saw where the unions met with the ministry, and I think this week is supposed to be the week when the ministry is supposed to report to the unions. Could you just tell us what is happening, Mrs. White?
Okay, the ministry late last year into early this year sent out several circulars which actually took back from workers particular allowances that they had been receiving over time, and also in relation to increments, annual increments. They had indicated that none would be paid over the period of the implementation of the compensation review. In all of these cases, we had not actually come to any agreement with the government on these actions. We had, in fact, in the discussions leading up to the implementation of the new salary rates for under the public sector compensation, we had, in fact, come to agreement in relation to one particular allowance and it being absorbed into pay, and that is the upkeep allowance.
Yes.
On most of the other allowances, we decided that we would continue discussions after we had in fact implemented the new salary rates. And that is because we recognize that we would not have sufficient time to be able to complete those discussions. And so, as I said, we agreed that we would continue those discussions. Initially, it was with an intent to complete those discussions by the end of March.
Mm-hmm.
But what has subsequently transpired, we have not been able to have the meetings necessary to complete those discussions. And so now we have agreed coming out of the meeting 2 weeks ago that we will move that date to the end of June. So we will now be continuing discussions on all the items with a view to completing those discussions by the end of June. So we have deemed the circulars to be a breach of the heads of agreement, because since we had not come to agreement, then it could not be in the government's control, so to speak, or authority to take away these allowances.
Right.
And in relation to the increments, we have stated categorically that, well, first and foremost, these increments are performance based. And so if it is that they are not going to be paid over the 3-year period of the implementation of the rates coming out of the compensation review, then it means that workers, it would be a disincentive to workers actually performing at their highest. And this is something that we have accepted and agreed with the government is the best means of dealing with performance, to have the increments being performance based. And so you cannot have a situation where workers are out there performing at their highest because they would want to receive whatever is the reward for good performance, and at the end of the day they would not be paid. So we are very clear that we do not support, and certainly at this point in time we cannot agree with there being no payment of increments over the 3-year period, which would end I think 2024.
Yes, yes. No, I also understand. I think I read a report where the unions, the workers complained to that there are some allowances which were unilateral, which has been unilaterally withdrawn.
And those are the ones where I'm just speaking of. We had allowances such as duty allowance.
Yes.
Some having to do with mileage when they travel. One being passenger mileage, where when you transport somebody in your vehicle, then you would be paid a rate, an additional rate for carrying that passenger. That was also removed. And so there are others that may not affect the wider public sector, but in various groups within the public sector, there have also been removal of certain allowances as well. And while we know that the government's approach in dealing with compensation review is to look at allowances and wages and try to come to some understanding as to allowances that should continue to be paid and so on. We continue to insist that there can be no change implemented without agreement, and we have not come to agreement on those items, and so we are insisting that they should continue to be paid pending the completion of these discussions.
So the government is supposed to respond to the unions when? This Thursday about that, right?
We are meeting again on Wednesday.
Okay.
those meetings, the meeting on Wednesday will also be establishing a schedule for us to be able to complete the discussions that I spoke of earlier around these very same allowances. Because since we had that point of agreement that listed some allowances that we would continue discussions on, then and we have now said that we have moved the completion date to the end of June.
Yes.
Then at the meeting on Wednesday, we are to be establishing a schedule as to how we would be able to complete those discussions.
Yes. So at the well, no, there is one. There is, but let me ask, what is the government's, during those meetings, what has been the government's response to the unions, you know, protesting the removal of those allowances?
Well, we don't think that I mean, they don't have a very clear response as far as we are concerned. Certainly not in relation to those items that, those allowances that we have not had the discussions on, and yet they are withdrawing.
Yes.
Because as we indicated to them, we see that as an act of bad faith, and collective bargaining really calls for the parties to expect each other to act in good faith. And if this action continues without the government accepting that they have, erred in terms of going ahead to withdraw payments of allowances when there are no discussions, then it would not augur well for the continued, well, we have moved away from the adversarial approach for several years, but they are pushing us back into that model if in fact they do not, accept what it is that we are saying. And so we cannot identify any real reason with regard to the increments. They have indicated some technicality, which is a little bit too involved for me to go in here.
Yes.
But we still did not accept what was advanced by them.
Okay. Well, let us hope that at the next round of discussion, all these things will be ironed out so that we can maintain stability at the workplace. Because as we speak, I detect some instability at the workplace, and this can't be a good move at all.
No, certainly not. And what we have, and in fact, some of our members have actually said it to us, because even those persons who were more or less satisfied with the rates that came out of the compensation review, the government's by its actions in trying to implement changes and take away things that were agreed, that were actually being paid, they are now pushing these workers who were more or less satisfied with what they had got into a situation where they are now becoming dissatisfied. And so we are saying to the government, it cannot be in your best interest to have your entire workforce dissatisfied based on your actions. And it is, some workers look at it as, giving with one hand and taking it back with the other. And that is something that, people do not look kindly on, because it is almost as if you're operating with a bit of what Jamaicans would call chicanery. And that is not something that is going to augur well for good relations between the government and the unions. And so we are encouraging them to recognize that you cannot make changes without agreements. Based on how collective bargaining operates and how we have been conducting ourselves in this arena over the last several years, it is important for there to be trust and confidence between the parties, and the government's actions is pushing the workers into a situation where they have become very distrustful. And as I say, this is even amongst those who were satisfied with what they had got coming out of the performance, the
Yes.
compensation review.
Right. The other thing with the firefighters, Mrs. White, the there is some discussion there. There is some points, some arguments that the fire service, in other words, their rules. It would appear as if their rules, some of their rules, need some reformation. And for example, the the time it took to bring up disciplinary matters of some firemen who were suspended for some breaches, there was an argument that it has taken too long. And then I observed where the sergeant who went on the roof of the bus terminus in Harwich, you observed that he was demoted. Now, you are representing the firemen. What is the authorities' response to? In other words, is there a need to reform the existing rules governing the fire service?
Well, what we have called for is for the regulations to the Fire Brigade Act, which actually contain the disciplinary rules for the Jamaica Fire Brigade, that they should be reviewed. The regulations, if my memory serves me right, were developed in 1988, 89, thereabouts. And what we have said is that over the years, there are aspects that we feel need to be addressed. With regard to the disciplinary rules, we feel that the regulations should be amended to put in specific timelines for the various aspects of the disciplinary rules to be implemented. So now we don't have a timeline between when a firefighter is suspended pending trial and the actual date of the trial. So we have had situations where there are firefighters who have been suspended for even longer periods than those who were recently tried, 2-3 years on suspension pending a trial that takes, as I say, in some instances, 3 years and more to be organized. And so we are saying that these timelines need to be established.
Yes.
Having said that, one of the things that, I think has to be understood, the fire brigade operates as a paramilitary service. And so the discipline is a little bit tighter than in the civilian sphere. And so it is not, it doesn't operate in the same way that one would expect, say, the rest of the public sector. But what we are saying, it needs to be fair.
Yes.
And so while there is, we don't have a problem in terms of how the trial is organized and so on, we do have a problem with the length of time it takes between suspension pending trial and when the trial actually is held.
Okay, right. And so how is that firefighter taking his demotion?
I am not sure. No, he is not a union member, so I'm not sure what his situation, how he's taking it. But I expect that you move through the ranks based on your performance over the years, and I would expect that this is something that the firefighter would not necessarily be happy about. But I think if there is to be a positive in all of it, the charge that he was brought upon was a dismissible offense. So he could have been dismissed, and instead he was demoted. So I think if there's a positive, that is a positive that could be drawn from it.
Oh, well. So, as we speak, things seems to be quiet on that side right now.
Well, so far, the major issue that firefighter has been speaking about is whether or not firefighters should be allowed to work at a full 24-hour day. What had happened is that in the period of the pandemic, in order to be able to ensure that firefighters were not overly exposed by too frequent travel on public transportation, what was done is for them to work a full 24-hour day and then to get 3 days off. Firefighters initially it was we in the unions who had to convince them to start to give it a trial based on the prevailing circumstances of that time, because most persons balk at the idea of working a full 24-hour day. But based on the circumstances, we encouraged them and they agreed to work it. As it turns out, having started working that 24-hour day, when it came time for them to revert to the normal 8-hour day, they wanted to retain the 24-hour day. And we have had to say to our members, this is not something that can be done. Because the very same regulations that I just spoke of indicated what is a regular tour of duty for a firefighter. It says 8 hours on duty and followed by 24 hours off duty. And so
Okay.
that is there in the regulation. So the only way you could actually get to a 24-hour day is if those regulations are amended to allow for it. In addition, what we have said to them, the labor laws in relation to how long a worker should work without getting overtime would also have to be amended. As it stands now, a regular work day can be up to, if my memory serves me right, 12 hours for the day, either 10 or 12, I'm not sure. But it is extended beyond 8 hours with when we had the labor laws being amended a couple of years ago for flexi work arrangements. Um, and that is something that goes for the entire workforce. We are not sure if a law could be passed that only applies to firefighters. And so all of those are things that would have to be discussed for us to be able to, convince the powers that be that they should legislate for that a firefighter should have a 24-hour work day.
Okay.
So this is something that we actually said to the members, and it is something that we have to be working through. But Sergeant Bennett felt that it is something that could be done overnight, and so he decided to have his one-man protest to try to get it to be changed. And this is how he fell afoul of the disciplinary regulations of the fire brigade.
Okay. So hold on. Let me try and understand that. That was why he was charged and suspended.
He was charged and suspended because he had, as I understand it, because I have not actually seen the charges, but from what I understand, based on the fact that they were demonstrated in the vicinity of the Ministry of Labor, and I think there was some charge in terms of what they're allowed to communicate and so on. Because when they go out and demonstrate and it's not backed by union, then they are putting themselves in the context of the brigade's regulations, and so that is the reason why I think they were brought up on either 3 or 4 charges.
Okay, I see. Now, on the just let us take another look now at the. We have been discussing some of the what I should say, some changes that are required on the labor scene. For example, what are you doing in your capacity as president of the Joint Union Council to get some action on the contract workers? I understand that the government is an employer of several contract workers, and as I understand it, the terms and conditions of contract work is something which is not in keeping with proper labor relations. So,
Well, there are areas of the public sector where over the last probably 20 years, the government has moved to employ workers on fixed term contracts rather than to use regular employment contracts in situations where there is a clear need for the job and that the job is in fact that of one to be performed by an employee of the organization. And as I said, this is about probably 15, 20 years old. Um, they, I think it started in earnest really in the 1990s, where
yes,
a lot of there was a view that you could get more better performance from a worker who's on contract. So you had different types of contracts. So you had the fixed term contracts, and you also had contracts where persons were on performance-based kind of contracts, so they had to meet certain requirements in order to be appointed. And political administrations across both political parties have taken the view that if a worker on a contract in the public sector is more easily replaced, and so they opted for those kinds of contracts rather than. So we had a number of senior civil servants who are employed using those types of contracts rather than to be directly um, to be employees as such.
yes,
Um, Over the time, we have been objecting to the approach, and we have said as much to both political parties when they are in power. What we have gotten in recent times, certainly in the context of the discussions with regard to the compensation review, the Minister of Finance has indicated that the government is prepared to begin to to do away with that kind of contract employment and begin to place these workers on the permanent establishment. A group that certainly my union represents, several of them in the local authorities. What happened in the local authorities? We had local government reform. If you would have recalled, local government was virtually shut down in the 1980s, and then in the 1990s, and since then they have been having what you call it, local government reform initiatives, which concluded, I think, the work of a national committee on local government reform completed its work somewhere around 2014-15. And coming out of that, they were to establish a structure that could be applied across all. They changed the name from parish councils to municipal councils.
councils.
And so that structure was supposed to determine the positions that would be required and the numbers of each position that would be required. That work um, started somewhere in 2016, 17, and has has not gone with the kind of pace that we had hoped. But in the discussions with the compensation review, the minister agreed that they would complete the work to create all the posts so that persons who are now employed on contract could be appointed, could be permanently appointed. Because the problem that the councils have without the posts being created, um, the work was there to be done, and so they had to employ persons on fixed term contracts to be able to get the work done while they waited on the posts to be created. So, in the case of the local authorities, those that work is supposed to be almost complete now, and based on the agreement with the Minister of Finance, they would, once the posts are provided and there's agreement with the unions in respect to the structures and so on, then these workers could be permanently appointed. So we have started with that. There's also a similar situation in the health sector, where they're supposed to be looking at the cadres of all the various groups in the health sector, determine the numbers that are needed, where persons are employed on contract, make sure that they are permanently appointed. I know we sent up lists for Spanish Town Hospital and various other regional health authorities as well of persons who have been working in clear vacancies. Well, I wouldn't say in clear vacancies. They have been working in these departments, some of them for as long as 20 years,
20
and cannot be
years.
appointed because the positions do not exist for them to be appointed. So if we look at one category of worker in the health sector, they are now called patient care assistants. In another dispensation, they were known as ward assistants. They are now patient care assistants. And in several of the health departments, you would have like 20 posts, but you have close to 100 persons actually employed. And these are persons who are employed doing work. They are not doing anything. So clearly, these are positions that are needed, but they have not done the work to create the post so that the person can be appointed. What we are saying to them is that you pay these persons anyhow, and in most of the cases, they are paid you know, their pay is related to the pay of the position in which they are working. So it is not going to be costing the government any additional money. So why don't you go ahead and make the provision so that the workers can be appointed? So one good thing that has come out of the compensation review is that they have agreed, certainly in the local authority, that this process will be completed and that the workers will be appointed effective 1st of April of this year.
Yeah. So tell me something now. Like these workers who are working for years, what kind of benefits do they have? Are they entitled to the benefits that regular workers are entitled to?
By and large, in the public sector, they do. They benefit from the health insurance. The thing that they do not benefit from is the pension.
Yes.
And that is something, several of them, what we had to do in, say, the Southeast region is to, well, certainly at the level of the Ministry of Finance, have some agreements that, you know, when persons come up for retirement, you should be looking to make sure that they are appointed before they are retired so that they can at least get the pension. But what we want is to have this done, the positions created for everybody so that they can be appointed and that they can actually enjoy the pension. What they would get at retirement is what is called a gratuity, which is linked to their years of service, but they would not get a monthly pension.
Okay.
And therefore, that is the thing that they lose the most. If they are there and they have to work overtime, they'll get overtime. They will become part of the health insurance scheme. So the most thing that they really lose, well, two things. They because they are not appointed, they would not have the benefit of performance increments. They would not get performance increments. And also the pension is what they would be denied as well.
Okay, okay. So you would say that on that front you have made some progress?
I think so. Well, what we have to now do is to make sure that it is actually implemented, because you will have agreements, and implementation is what is where you actually have the challenge.
Yes, yes. Um, I heard the Minister of Labour saying that you were asked or you were mandated to set up a joint industrial Congress. I don't know if I'm getting it right. For the
JIC, Joint Industrial Council.
the council, for the trade unions.
Well, not
not for the trade unions, for the security companies, security guards.
industry,
Right. Yes.
And I think we have to be clear, because a joint industrial council is in fact what we would refer to as a social dialogue institution, meaning that it is a mechanism that is established so that in any particular industry, the three parties, the employers, the unions, and the government, can come together to and so that it encourages consensus building. So by its very nature, it is a voluntary organization, meaning that people have to go into it voluntarily. It cannot be something that is mandated. So I've heard we have been making the calls for the establishment of a joint industrial council, but it
Yes.
has to have the agreement of the three parties involved. In fact, if we look at the security guard industry, there was a JIC in place up to sometime in the late 80s, early 90s. I think it may have been late 80s that the JIC, then for the security industry, was disbanded, so to speak, primarily because the employers in the industry didn't any longer support it. And so it was basically disbanded. And what we have found since, and I think part of the reason why is that they would have wanted to go the route that they eventually did go, of treating the security guards as if they were contractors and not employees of theirs. And so they came out of the GIC, but without that important partner in there, the GIC could not continue to function. And so that is how we come to be where we are today.
Yes.
The fact that the court has now ruled that these workers are not contractors, but in fact employees of the security companies. We have been having discussions at the level of the Labor Advisory Council. Again, is a tripartite grouping that advises the Minister of Labor on labor relations issues. And at the level of the Labor Advisory Council, we have been having these discussions with employers, including employers in the security industry, along with the representatives from the government and from the unions, for us to be able to come to some agreement as to how we can best deal with this ruling of the court in relation to security guards and how they should be treated. So I have been asked to actually chair the meetings of the subcommittee of the Labor Advisory Council that is looking at us being able to chart a new way arising out of the decision of the court. And in those discussions so far, we have had the unions have maintained our call for the establishment of a joint industrial council to be able to deal with the entire industry. And we have been getting some kind of support from the security companies who seem to be more on board now than they were before. So we will in the next um, several weeks be seeking to come to a position in terms of um, finally deciding whether we will be reestablishing the GIC for the security industry. And once that is done, then the players in the industry, including the unions representing the workers, will become involved in discussions as around labor relations issues in the security industry. I
So
want to make the point, though, there's one that this should not be seen as a panacea because I hear some persons talking about it as if it is going to magically solve the problems. It won't magically solve the problems. What we have to do is to be able to get the partners around the table because we believe that, certainly from the union standpoint, that what the GIC would do, if you have, you may have, I'm not sure how many security companies they have now. I know they have quite a few. If you have 100 security companies rather than, workers in each, um, uh, becoming unionized and each union having to negotiate contracts with all of these companies, then just as it happens with the construction industry, you would be negotiating on an industry-wide basis and you would be developing rates that can be applied right across the entire industry. So that is what we feel is the advantage of the GIC rather than going the route of having several different, collective labor agreements with all of these companies. We would have it on an industry-wide basis, and just as how in the construction industry, you have the rates that are agreed centrally through that GIC. This is what we are proposing. And as it seems now, we are hopeful that we'll be able to come to the point of having agreement as to the reestablishment of the GIC for the security industry. And hopefully that will be within the next couple of weeks into months.
yes, so you are getting good responses from the guard companies.
So far. But
Okay.
we have to actually come to a point to get, what is because the security companies have their own association. I forget what they call it. I think it's Association of Industrial Security
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something like that.
right.
They have that association, and we are expecting that the association will be able to say categorically when next we meet what is the view on from the majority of companies that are under that organization.
Madam President, before you go, I saw where your report in relation to those farm workers in Canada. You found that they were okay.
I don't know that is the term. We were asked to investigate claims of systematic slavery that was made by several of the advocacy groups on behalf of who were advocating on behalf of various farm workers in Canada. And we were asked to investigate to determine whether those claims are valid and also to get from workers their own views as to their experience on the farm work program. And we were to get those views through the conduct of a survey amongst the farm workers in Canada. So our terms of reference were quite specific in terms of how we would be collecting that information from workers. We were to survey, we were to have um, a random sample of about 10% of the farms. There are 600 and odd farms in Canada. And
Yes.
so 10% would mean that we would survey workers on 60 of the farms, 60 odd of the farms. And we were to ensure that we had farms we surveyed farms in all of the provinces of Canada. And that is what we basically did. Of
Uh-huh.
course, when we went out there to interview these workers or to survey these workers, we would also be using our own eyes to see what the conditions were on the farms. And so this is what we in fact did. There are some persons who are saying that the survey that we did not actually have enough persons to be able to draw valid conclusions. What I can say is that we were advised there are just under 10,000 workers who went on the program last year.
Yes.
We were advised that if we had that number, 300 to 350 would be an adequate number. We went 100 more than that. We did approximately 450 persons. We tried to ensure that the conditions under which these workers were interviewed by us was such that they were as comfortable as possible. We tried to build rapport with them so that they could give us information. One of the things that we made sure that they were aware of is that we were not taking their names so that no information could go back to any of their employers to say that they are,
They gave
so that
information.
they could not be victimized. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Because we were not taking their names. We also sought to ensure that when we were interviewing them, we interviewed them away from the owners and managers of the farms. We even made sure to separate them from their peers. So we interviewed people by and large as individuals away from everybody else. So it meant that they could give us whatever information they wanted to because they would have had the privacy. So we did everything that we thought was possible to get honest opinions from workers as to their circumstances. And our report is actually based on the responses that we received from these workers. There's a view also that you know because these owners and managers would have known that we were coming, they were going to put things in place. We did not get that information from workers because I would expect workers, if that was the case, to say to us, don't bother what you want to see here, because this just put in. Yeah.
Yes.
We never got that kind of information from them. And but in order to try to ensure that efforts were not made at the last moment to sort of put everything in place,
Yes.
we did not release the names of the farms to even the liaison service. The liaison service was not aware of the farms that we were seeking to visit until we actually got to Canada. And within 2 days of us getting there, we were in the field. So in most instances, the farmers would have had only 1 day notice that we were coming. Very unlikely that they would be able to make any meaningful changes to the conditions in 1 day.
Okay. Okay.
So we are, I think, very comfortable. I know it is not what some persons would want to hear, and we are not saying that there are no circumstances that we saw that we were unhappy with. There were some, and we made that known. But when we look at the totality
Yeah.
and the based on the interviews with the workers, we cannot say that there was any system. We did not see anything, and the workers did not indicate that
Yeah.
there was anything akin to systematic slavery.
Okay. So you
Where we
saw.
identified that there may be shortcomings, we made recommendations as to what we thought should be done.
So
To
your team found proper working conditions, sleeping conditions, and workers were treated as human beings. No derogatory treatment.
Well, again, we got that information from the workers themselves in terms of how they were treated, because we would not see that
Yes.
when we got there, because we went there, we did like 2 farms a day, because I mean the farms are widely dispersed far away. I know the team that I was on, we could only do 2 farms per day, and that is without having lunch in between. We just went from one farm to the other. So a lot of the time was traveling from one farm to the other. And
Yes.
as I said, we interviewed most of these workers in the field, so we would have been able to observe
Okay.
what was happening in the field in terms of those that were picking apples. I did not go to any of the. Yes, I did go to one farm where they had vegetables, which is low, which they are low to the ground. A
Yeah.
lot of the complaints that we got were from workers who were involved in vegetable farming, because they complained about backache and problems with their knees. And so one of our recommendations was about ensuring that occupational safety and health standards
Right.
would be developed
Mhm.
in terms of how long should a worker be working bent over, how long should a worker be working on kneeling, and
Yes.
so on. So those are the kinds of recommendations would have been able to make. So as I said, we could only go on the basis of the responses that we got from workers. And if my memory serves me right, just about 70% of them said the conditions were either good or excellent. When
Okay.
we added fear to it, we
Yeah.
got even more than 70% who were satisfied with the conditions under which they worked.
Okay.
And from what we saw with our own eyes, from the farms that we visited, we would say the overwhelming majority of instances, the conditions were, um, we would say, fair to excellent. I know there was one farm that I personally visited where I would deem that to be excellent. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't think that you could have a situation, if we even think of ourselves in Jamaica here, in any particular industry, you would have what you call good employers, bad employers. What you would have to try to determine is the extent to which that good or bad treatment exists, because that is what would be useful. When
Yeah.
you have individual cases, as we found, we, however, did not say because they are in the minority that they should be ignored. We made recommendations for those situations that we did not feel were up to standard. So I
Okay.
know for a couple of the larger farms, we felt that there were privacy issues because of how the workers were in dormitory style accommodations, and so there's very little privacy in that, and you could see workers attempting to deliver themselves the kind of privacy they wanted by hanging like sheets around their beds and so on.
Right.
And so a situation like that we did not feel is the optimum, and so we made recommendations that that issue of how you accommodate workers in a bunkhouse style living, a dormitory style living, especially in a situation where a lot of these workers are there for 6 to 8 months for the year.
Yes. Yes.
They virtually live there for half of the year or more,
Yes.
that they needed to have more privacy. So in those situations, we would have made those kinds of recommendations. There were a couple of them that we were not comfortable in terms of the number of bathrooms to the number of workers. And we again indicated that we felt what should be done is that both the Jamaican authorities through the liaison service and the Canadian authorities through the the Ministry of Labor in the various provinces, as well as the federal government, to try to put in place some kind of measure in terms of the provision of these appliances, such as you know, washing machines and dryers. How many do you actually need? Is it that you have one and you have one for 50 persons? You know, that's the kind of recommendation would have made in those circumstances where we saw that there were problems. The major thing we are saying is that we did not see anything resembling systematic slavery, and also that in relation to the views that we got from the workers arising from the survey that we conducted, 70% and over were satisfied with the conditions under which they performed their duties and under which they were accommodated or lived.
Okay. Madam President, I want to thank you very much. And as
Thanks for having me, Desmond.
yes, the platform is yours, Madam President. So thank you very much. That was Mrs. Helen Davis White, President General of the Jamaica Confederation, the Jamaica Workers Confederation. And you know, you had a mouthful about what is happening at the workplace. And that situation with the Canadian farm workers, you know, there was a lot of comments about that. Well, you heard what Mrs. Davis White said. She was the one who headed the group that went there to investigate. And you heard what she said about the Joint Industrial Council that is being worked on to deal with the security guards. Let us go for a break. This is Rebel Radio. Yes, welcome back to Rebel Radio. And at this time we are talking to two Kingston businessmen. You know, these are small businessmen who have to deal with all the issues affecting the labor situation today. Russell?
Yeah, man.
And Bobby?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
All right. So, gentlemen, I can well imagine that. So, tell us about the profits that you have been making in the downtown Kingston area. Bobby, you want to start? You want to take that one? I said, tell us about the profits that you have been making in the downtown Kingston area.
Well, the profits have been dried up, you know. Below from COVID, and now we have the crime situation that is worse than COVID that is affecting us. So, you know, our profits have been cut significantly based on these things, based on the fact that sometimes the police can just come and tell you to close the business at 6 o'clock because they're having a curfew because of a shooting that goes on a mile away from you, or whatever the case is, you know, and these things affect us significantly. Other than that, the high cost of living. There was a time when you go to shop and things would have been raised every 6 months or every year. No, it is every day that you go to the shop that you hear things are raising. No, I would want you, sir, to check some of the very popular meat shops around town, like the Master Max and all those places, and the Spanish Grain, and see if they have any price list anymore. So the items are there, but they no longer have them because the prices just keep moving. And so it is difficult for them to be climbing the high wall to be rewriting the prices, you know, as often as it has been changed now.
Mm-hmm. And you can raise a lunch every day.
No, we can't raise a lunch every day because, for example, we have yam right now at $7,000 a scale. That is 36 pounds of yam for $7,000.
Yes.
$150 a pound for yam. Yes. $200 a pound for yam. You know, yes. And these things we used to talk about cents for these things. You know, Russell will be can probably shed light on that better than I am, because he is in the market district and would know what I'm speaking of.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Pumpkin now is $150 a pound, $200 a pound.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I went and I bought some chicken paw the other day, and the man was selling them for $4,850. Listen to me carefully. $4,850. And in 4 days I went back, it is $6,000 per case.
So $4,650 and
$4,850.
Yes.
And then when I went back, $6,000 for the same case of chicken paw.
How long after you bought that case did you went back?
About 4 days. About 4 days would be the split time period. About 4 days.
Wow. No, that is startling. Yeah. That is startling. I don't hear. I have not heard. I don't hear Jamaica broilers or the other chicken companies say that the price of chicken went up. I haven't heard that.
But they don't supply to talking. So therefore, the people can just come and do whatever they want to do on the market. No.
Yes.
But we are in a country, my brother, that is very, very unfair, you know, and you will hear people tell you that it is just not Jamaica as the world. Well, if this is how we are going to live, then let us go on. because it is not pretty. I can tell you, it's not pretty. I was talking to a professional today, and we were looking at the whole aspect of the pay grade, and the fact that we have people who are collecting 1.5 million and more per month, and that is just basic pay per month, while there are others who have to be going into the toilet bowl and all of them kind of things and are not getting anything at all for the pay. Right? We talk about the teachers who I hear the arguments that if teachers don't get more pay than police officers. No, I am wondering why is it that we would even equate police officers or equate people's pay, right? More than we need to pay people accordingly, right? No, if you're going to ask why is it that teachers should not get more pay than police officers? What is it that the police officer is doing more than the teacher? The police officer has a gun to defend himself when he's attacked by students. Does the teacher have that? When the classroom goes black and the boy pull out his knife and says, "Teacher, oh yeah, this before?" What does the teacher have at his disposal to help himself from harm and danger?
Yes.
And so when we, as a people, I realize when we reason, we don't reason logically, right? Because all of us come through the hands of the teachers, right? And if anybody's supposed to get in more pay than anybody here, it's the teachers.
Yes.
Because the teachers face 30 to 50 students every single day and have to be dealing with different kind of behavior, different attitude. And when I'm talking about something, we're talking about all teachers.
Yes, yes.
Why do you have police officers walking on the streets?
Okay.
So, I think as a people, we need to stop. I want to look at things logically as a people. We need to look at things, and look if our feet were in those shoes, how would we cope?
Yes.
Not because I am well off and I'm okay. Then I'm going to say, yeah, boy, what about the workers who when they go home, the little pay we'll give them can't do anything at all.
Russell, what is your take? What is your experience with the cost of food downtown there?
You see right now, are the same people them, and they might take disadvantage of the situation. And when me say, rather to step in and the integrity committee with them say them have just a specialized on certain people. Like what them usually have people who are going at the shop and see where set a company and raise them food, what the price, and put some regulation under that. Because they might think they might blame Prime Minister, they might blame party. You know, see it? And every time you got markets, as them say, the food in the ground now, me don't know not where I go on, that's it, they might raise it every week. They might take advantage of the same poor people, then we are come down there, come buy it.
Yes.
The same farmer them, and when the government lick them, you hear them ball from government. But when they might lick poor people, we don't know, it's a company. It's a meal thing, man.
But I want to tell both of you something. Every week I talk to farmers all over Jamaica. And one of the things that the farmers are talking about right now, I can tell you, the farmers are talking about the cost that they are facing to plant fertilizer, the price of fertilizer, all the agricultural inputs are up, labor costs up. And you know what they are telling me? They are telling me that they are losing off the crops. So therefore, what they are getting for the goods from those who they sell to in the markets then, the higglers and whoever buy from them, they are saying that money, they are finding it difficult to use to recover the money that they are spending to put the crops. So the crop to produce the crop. So therefore, there must be some middle trading taking place there.
Yeah, I mean, I said, about that, because I see the truck them come in at night time. And I said, I go through a night time, like on a Wednesday night and a Friday night.
Yeah.
The 1, 2 o'clock. Then we see what's going on.
Yes.
Because I'm have to pay a truck man, and when them come out town, I'm have to pay a cart man again. You don't see it and them prepare. But no, say it kind of stay away from them, but them still a survive. But if them can't, take some of the costs and throw it and eat the people them when them come to buy, the small people them. But this thing I want to regulate more, man.
Yeah.
The government have to put some kind of way in it. That's the farmer them profit more and who buy get price for their money,
Yeah.
Get, the best thing to their money.
But it's one thing that we are not going to see, We are not going to see any reintroduction of any price inspectors, Because the economic model that we are operating don't call for that. Price inspectors are not part of this. So you won't see any price inspectors going around checking on prices of goods in shops and in marketplaces. You're not going to see that. So we have to find a way.
So it's a dog eat dog thing.
We will have to find a way to address this situation. No regulation. You are not going to see any regulation for that. I can tell you that, right? No, you're not going to see that. Yes. So, yes, Russell, what you were saying, go ahead.
Yeah, the same thing with the restaurant because maybe I cut back a little bit right now because when you go in the cabbage raise from that to that, then you see tomato raise from that, and it's a vegetable thing me and deal with.
Yes.
So, we can't go and my food now sell as fast as cover back to pay the work and
Yes.
No, I mean, I tell you right. It was some kind of steady rate. That's why I say rather could have come in and you have a special place where you go to rather and you buy your goods at a special price.
Yes.
Yeah. Them set on a price, that means the farmer them have to comply. I don't know how to work out.
Mm-hmm.
But rather have to step in some kind of way,
Well,
the rather people them supposed to have a stall or somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
When the goods done, then black but people have the choice, so them can go to the rather stall.
Yes. Yes, I see. I understand what you are saying. Well, I don't know how RADA can deal with that. I think I will raise that issue to find out how they can deal with that. I know of a case where RADA, I think, prepare are facilitate the sale of some food stuff, right? But I will certainly have this kind of discussion with them and see what they can do. The gentleman.
All right, so the big hotel and them something they rather not supply them.
The big what?
Like the big hotel and place, they rather supply them with goods.
No, I don't. No, I don't know about that. I know that farmers supply the hotels. I know the hotels buy food from the farmers. I know that. I don't think RADA is. I don't think RADA is involved in that.
And nobody don't know the rate. Well, it's a complicated thing. We don't know how we are going to work with this, but we have to live with it. My brother, I said, Bobby, I said, we have to fight and live with it.
Yes, I can imagine that it is a difficult exercise because if the cost of goods keep moving at that pace, then it must put pressure on the operators because they can't raise the food as regular.
Yes, sir.
Yes, they can't. You can't do that. So you must be under pressure.
And sometimes my food shorten from put certain things in it that's gonna get the right flavor just for the price gone up,
Yes. Yes. I can't well imagine that. Yes. Then apart from that now the condition under which people have to operate business because the cost of other services, the cost of electricity, the cost of other services that you have to use to keep your business alive. They too keep moving.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yes, it is. It is not a nice situation at all. Yes.
So some people see people around business and feel like somewhere is an easy thing to run a business.
Raza said a while ago that people keep on blaming the politicians, the government, the prime minister for the issues that we are now discussing. But the question I want to ask, if you give the chef the pot to cook, Mr. Raza, and the chef give you some soft rice and burn up chicken, who is it that they're going to blame? Is it the chef or is it you?
They won't blame me because
because you're the head. Yeah? And so I move back to the point, Raza, that we need to regulate, we need to have some sort of order to what we are doing as a people and stop running around and playing games. We need to have some policies put in place. So I would have said to my friend some time ago that whichever party the people choose to elect within the next 5 years, we would have had some projects in place that we call must be done, must finish projects. So it would be the two parties or the 60 odd members who the people of this country are paying to lead this country come together and see projects, put projects together, 5 or 10 projects together that will move the country forward. Yeah? And these projects must be done. There's no question that if
the 5 year span
within the next 20 years, this is how we're going to attack in moving forward. Yes. So the man can't come and say, put that one side. In that words again. It must be finished because at the end of the day, let's just look at this thing constructively. Let's look at this thing logically. Who is going to be affected when you spend billions of dollars and then the stop? Again, I say Edward George Phillips Siaga started one of the best markets in downtown Kingston. And after 20, 30 odd years, 40 odd years, the market is not yet finished. And the two parties have come to power. And the members, one of the members of parliament came, one of the prime minister came from where the market is.
Yes.
So when they say that we're going to wake up, we're going to wake up and understand that we're not green and orange, but when the price is raised, it doesn't affect JLP or PMP, it affects us as Jamaicans. When are we going to realize that?
Yeah, man. You hit a point there, so. It's a man who move close. And me try to help do some in my little kind of way on my side where I pertaining to develop the area. You know, see, because we didn't move close and we made like the program.
Yeah.
And I see people out with them in the street. With them say them a Rasta Marcus Gab, the people are so out with them and sleep one of them there. Right? Yes, some people going ball, yes. And I saw it have to go. Downtown have to clean up. Downtown have to clean up.
Let me say something to you. You cannot get rid of the opposition. So people will always oppose you. No matter how good of a thing you're doing. So when you're doing something, they're going to say, yeah, we forget good name. And some going to say, don't make no sense. And all kind of things. What I'm
people
saying
must come to the reality downtown to clean up my bars.
Yes. What I'm saying to you, you see, as a people, we need to put policies in place. So you have policy or you cook the rice and peas. That's all. You put 1 part of water to 1 pound of rice. If you put 2 parts of water, the rice will go soft and plucky. Yeah? You have to put policies in place. You have to put rules in place. You have to put regulation in place. So you said, when you're selling the food, you can't give everybody 10 pieces of meat. It's 2 pieces of meat. So when the customer come, a 2 piece you get. When the mother come, a 2 piece you get. When your friend come, a 2 piece you get. Because you put 3 pieces in there, you're not going to make no money. We must have policies, and because we don't have any policies, because some people are seen as important and some are seen as nobody. We are where we are. And until we understand that after the day of election, we are still Jamaicans, then we're not going any way forward. Now, let me say something to you. You are in Tivoli Garden. You walk the schools. Look at the schools. Look at the schools. Go inside the classroom and look at the state of the classrooms. Look at the state of the bathrooms. Yeah? And then I want you to look at the vehicle that the Minister of Education is driving. And then ask yourself the question, why are you paying? Why are you really paying education tax? We want to be what we are not. So we want to be a first world country. When we have a fifth world attitude. Because we don't go to the school. We don't want to go to work. We don't want to go to school.
Yes.
Among other things.
Yes. I see.
We have to change. We have to change the whole attitude. So as you said earlier on, we need persons to have regulated prices.
Yes.
We need persons to go around. And rather, let me say this to you. If the man sell the yam for less than 150, him can't come back to market.
Yes.
Because rather, you and I know in the very space he is, I have to pay more than cat man, I have to pay more than truck man.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, man, I know, man. I know
I have to pay more than KSHE. So let me ask a question now. When the man, you have suffered the son head a plant as a field?
I know you talk about.
Some work are wicked, my brethren. I just push my hand down in a hole to get out some water to make sure that the water in my business is running properly. And then a man will see you driving the most expensive vehicle and you understand that it doesn't come up.
Yeah.
No.
You get what I did with? It doesn't come up.
I want both of you to hold it. Hold it for me a minute and let us take a break. We are talking to two businessmen, Russell and Bobby, and both are talking about the state of the market. Don't go away. This is Rebel Radio. Just take a break.
La 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 la. Oh, I wanna be remembered as a man who sings songs for Jesus Christ, who was willing to lay down his life, do his will no matter what the price. Live for Jesus, that's what matters. That when other houses crumble, might be strong. Live for Jesus, that's what matters. Yeah, that you see the light in me and come along. That you see.
Keep the island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep the island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
the island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way.
Yes, welcome back to Rebel Radio. Yes, Bobby and Russell. As we were talking about the prices. Yes. But apart from the high prices and what are some of the other prohibitive, or what are some of the other situations facing businessmen downtown?
Well, you see, I mean, not stop coffee. Yeah, man.
Yes, go
yeah,
ahead,
man.
Yes.
Yeah, me not stop coffee. But you know some people go vex. Me want the city clean up. Government give them some of the street already. Some part of Princess Street and some part of Must Bedford Street or so. For themselves on. Up on the sidewalk. But when the government give them the sidewalk, them take the street. And them take other street put in it. They can't go somewhere, idiot, man. We can't live so as a country, man.
Yes.
And most of the thief and the robber them hide up in the crowd of the people. Them have a man, a gunshot fire, you don't know who is worse, see nobody out.
Yes.
You're joking.
Yes. I can't.
But, Raza, if you go to other countries, you know, there are places that would look worse than how, and I wouldn't say worse, but are more combustible than what you see in the downtown area. But what happens though, is that because there's law and order there, those things do affect them. You understand? Because I'm going to say something to you, Raza. The more people back up downtown, you know, is the more food they're going to sell, you know. So it's because, again, we don't have any rules and regulation. We don't have, the place is not safe.
Yes. Yes.
So people not coming downtown to shop, you know. Let me say something to you. You ever go in Price Mart and realize that Price Mart is always full up? Always full. And the price is, people don't watch price inside there, you know. Them pay any amount of money. Them buy a color that sells downtown for $150. Them buy it for $1,000. And you know why we can't get them sale downtown? Because of the crime and the violence that is affecting us. And I'm going to say this to you, my friend. There are some places, there are some parts on earth that need an iron fist to run. That's us life. Because you have some people, if you don't have an iron fist over them not take no talk. And that's how life set up. And if you read the Bible, it's inside there. Right? So watch this now. When Father Dodo said I run the place, when Father Dodo said I run the place and Father Six said I run the place, I could have walked my town at 4 o'clock a morning time. And no guy that touched me. And from the man that leave the place, the whole place turned upside down. You understand? But here I go on now. That's the next discussion for next time. Yeah, man.
But the government and the police can't take out the mantle, you know. I don't know nothing to do. Them can't take out the mantle.
Because I remember a few years ago, is that when you went downtown, for example, you could stay at Parade and look straight out on Spanish Town Road, right? All the streets downtown were clean. You can drive on them, and then.
All right, and my general, you're speaking of a time before COVID, right?
Yes, it was before COVID.
And I remember that when you could look straight down. All right. Now let us take all the things that have happened since. How many persons have been laid off since that time and now have to go create their own job? Again, brethren, all right, look at the state of the state. You say of the, whereas I can speak to that, look at the state of the toilets in the market. Look at the state of the park. There's no sanitary, and as I'm saying, if we fix up the places, because you will have, there's always going to be people selling on the road. But it can be done properly.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Mark out the areas that they sell.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and they pay a reasonable fee to sell every day. We don't kill them. So we mark out these spots and they're registered and they pay a money, a monthly fee. and they sell there. You don't have to be collecting for them every day, right? And there are persons who come on a Wednesday, some come on a Thursday, and so we can organize the thing this way, right? But we are lack governance, and we are lack governance from both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
We lack governance. And this is what I'm saying, that we need to sit down together, as you had said some time ago, host, as you had said some time ago, we need to have the discussion at the grassroots level. Listen to the people, and then put the things in place. We can't have boy run behind people on a town, and dig out them yai, and I take out them things, and when you take out the people them things, you can't go dump it. Brother, how will you feel to buy your products? And then them going to come and take it and dump it and tell you, say, you're running illegal business. Then they can't right. Those things are wicked.
Me against that, man. Me against that big time.
You save your money, you throw your part of the card, you don't have an option, you lose your work. The market, you like to pay, you want for the right, you want for the right track. I said, boy, watch it out. They're going to sell 2 bags, and a guy come get it and dump it. Them things they can't right.
No, man, it needs to regulate, man. It needs to regulate.
We need to put, it doesn't matter who we are and whose friend we are, we need to put, because when my friend come inside, he's not going to do as him please. So we need to put rules and regulations in place. Downtown Kingston, let me tell you something. Let me tell you my vision. One of my views of downtown Kingston, from Orange Street, right back to Darling Street, should be considered as the market district, as the market district. So therefore, those areas, goods are transported in those areas by the same cartman and trolleys to the different points. Or we have routes that the vehicles can travel on and deposit your goods. Educate the cartmen that they can become a part, because they are part of the system, but they're not educated. But we don't have the leaders and the minds to bring the country in this way. What we do, we look down on the cartman and say the cartman is nothing. But let me ask that question, Russell. Without the cartman downtown, how downtown manage? Tell me.
Me know what you talk about. Me know you. And I said, man, you see from Darling Street where you look. This is straight on Earwood Street. Earwood Street should be a one-way, go right in a town.
Yes.
Earwood Street should be a one-way, go right in a town.
Yes. So those places, the market.
And the other rest of part, down at the bottom, the West Queen Street to become a market area.
Yes. No, look here again, Rafi. Look here again now. How many bathrooms are downtown? How many public bathrooms are in the market district? And hundreds of thousands of people pass through this. If the bathroom right now down the full of people. But there's no bathroom.
Bobby, in my young boy days, in my youth days, you usually have public toilet on the corner them, you know. One right up one still there, Darling Street. Hold on now. What the one still there, Darling Street, as I see me on Spanish Road corner. And me I say them say the people them in a Jamaica sick certain kind of way, you know. If you are driving a bus and as the bus stop, you want to go piss.
Yeah.
Them have a bladder thing. You can't blame the people there.
Yeah.
And the food they eat and the thing where them are drink. So them have to piss every minute. You know, but just put the toilet in the way near them and put it out a door, a corner, monitor it and eat a too. Everybody comes to charge them $50. Somebody get paid from it and they come when they get a money from it. I say me and Darling me have a place where me plant up and mural up on them something there. And me I tell them them have it away. But me want ask the case make me put 2 tiles out on the sidewalk or so. And get somebody sit down there and monitor the 2 tiles them.
Yeah.
And me have a toilet for my corner when me make the people them come see, you know, when them come on a bus stop, you know.
Yeah, man. That's man.
Yeah, man. Me have a toilet on my corner when me provide for them because I know it go.
Yeah, that's man.
Them come out of the bus and
yes, Bobby.
them can't find me.
I'm going to run because I'm going to finish up something before the night comes down. But listen to me carefully.
Yes.
Brother, listen to me carefully. You should have seen me out there. We are collect the extortion or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
The cartman, everybody have used downtown. We need smart leaders. We need leaders to take them and transform them, so that the city, the country can be transformed. We leave with that.
All right, Bobby.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much.
Man.
Thank you. Yeah. So, Russell.
Yeah.
Yes. So, well,
some youth there, you know. To tell you differently, you have some youth down in the place here. are going with some great work.
Yes.
You know, see, some youth are going with some great work. But you know, see, the carnival where the people can come and Jamaica, come from nowhere and come to Jamaica, come keep carnival, right? And make so much things out of it. You know, see it? And you have some little youth them down here now. We are going with for them thing in the downtown area. We are keep it alive.
Mm-hmm.
Last night them keep something on the waterfront there. I'm proud of them.
You mean carnival, downtown carnival?
Yeah, the youth them keep a thing now, a breakfast thing, you know?
Yes.
Time and time them keep them things downtown. If I know in a Tivoli up on the waterfront there. And you're mad to see the people come.
Mm-hmm.
You know, see it?
Yes.
And you have a movement we are going on, the Marcus Garvey movement and the Rasta movement. Them not do nothing to promote Jamaica and the diaspora them a foreign to invite them to Jamaica year to year.
Yes.
To come represent that kind of program.
Mm-hmm.
As a part of a tourism package too. We can create Rasta, yes, a Rasta create farm. And we don't have bases as every year they have to come as well and represent. Marcus Garvey will come from here. When you go other different foreign countries, they might keep something for Marcus Garvey a year time. We look like nothing at Jamaica here.
Mm-hmm.
To where them and do put to Marcus Garvey. So one to them people that we can keep some kind of highlight and show them say they must have to come to Jamaica to take part. Who are represent Marcus Garvey all over the world have to come to Jamaica.
Yes, yes, yes.
So be a part of this thing, yeah.
Yes, right.
You know, see them just die out and that's why them can't make no money on the Rasta them and the Marcus Garvey, the company where them are dealing with. Them can't unite to make no money.
Mm-hmm.
When them want to use the poor all the while, come here, them say them up for a demonstration and a march. And start talk about some whole time something and talk about what you can do for the people.
Mm-hmm.
So them want to march go back and go talk to them way name them because about the constitution and well, I don't know what here. So we want to do for the sell.
Yes.
We don't want to run the government out of power. We want to have set up. All right then, the government back down and come out of power. What kind of party we have set up around the country then?
Mm-hmm.
Up around the country.
Yeah,
you tell the ruling leave and pack up and this and that. But where you have, it's like somebody send you come to do that. And with them have a benefit.
Yes.
Because you don't have nothing in place.
No, what they say about the constitution, by the way, you know, that's a very important discussion, you know. You know that right now a committee has been established to look at constitutional reform. You're aware that the country want to break away with the monarchy, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, so the Constitution, that is a very important document. The Constitution,
yes.
The Constitution that we have now, we, the ordinary people, didn't have any input in the makeup of that Constitution, you know. So now that an attempt is being made now to reform, to amend the Constitution, every single man, woman, must have a say in that. That is our document.
Yes. Yes.
So if whoever...
We don't go about that now.
Well, all right. For example, a committee has been established to carry out the reform. Now they are supposed to take the debate to us, to the public.
Yeah.
Right. No, I heard. it is supposed to happen. No public discourse has been held as yet. So people, ordinary people, must use their voices to call for their participation in the reform of the Constitution. We can allow the Constitution to be reformed above our heads, and then them come and tell us what they are doing. We want to know, we want to be part of the discussion in what is supposed to be done in reforming the Constitution.
Yeah, me not say nothing about that. Me agree with that.
Yes.
You know, me agree with that, you know.
Yeah.
But to the way them attack some part of the demonstration, like what happening at Carroll Garden, and people, the government around the people them off of the street, and you know, me don't like them kind of thing there.
So, I don't understand what they say. What is the demonstration being planned for? What it's about? What are they demonstrating for or against?
Yeah, man. Like the man said, the government have deal with certain things, and them don't want it happen like what happening at Carroll Garden. So I don't know directly where them are deal with, and the government have big people them on the street, and then you know, so them are come to talk to the government to right. You see, you got to talk about the Constitution, and they want to find out what is going on, and them voice want to be heard.
Yes.
And they want to be a part of it. The government can just drop it down somewhere like a bomb.
Yes. Yes.
You don't see it?
Well, you know, as just like how we were talking about the order that we need in downtown Kingston. So when they say remove off the street, yeah, we can't have the street blocked. The streets right now are blocked. We are saying that yes, we are saying
regulate them, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I hear you saying. It's that listen, yes, the people can be on the street, but they must be regulated. And you keep on saying you want downtown must be cleaned up. And I don't know who can disagree with you with that. Downtown must be cleaned up. We can't.
Because the same, the Vietnam, they say the same people, them, sometimes yes of them left got price mark up buy, you know, people from Tivoli, people from downtown, I say, you know.
Yes.
Them got a way over Mega Mart to buy, you know.
Yes.
Why a businessman don't come, them have to make a bashko, yes. But to want something like that, although them have to have top security, but to want something like that downtown.
Oh, you mean like a Mega Mart? You mean like a store like Mega Mart downtown?
We need a big shopping complex downtown.
Okay.
It need it more than anything else.
Yes.
Anyway, downtown, drop it on the waterfront or anyway they saw. Yeah, we drive anyway them have and put a big one down there. The amount of money them would have made. Nobody not spend money like you see the poorer class of people. I like how them wages are raised right now. Nobody not spend money like them, you know.
Yeah, because you know that
they back from Price Mart or Mega Mart, you know. But they don't have the kind of facility you down here.
Right. Well, let us hope the investors are listening to us and they will decide to. But Russell, I tell you what, based on what I see happening downtown, that these things are, I think it's just a matter of time, you know.
Yeah.
These things are going to happen downtown, you know. Downtown is not going.
Yeah. No.
Downtown is not going to remain as it is forever, you know, Russell.
Me know. The kind of silly little movements from down at Harbour Street, it come up now to Water Lane,
yes,
to Tower Street, so it kind of take time to come up, you know.
Yes. Some
you know, it come right up to the railway, you know, down at the bottom.
Yes.
So
I also see when I look at along East Queen Street, I can see like a number of whole buildings are being torn down. I don't know if when last you go there and see. Right? It's as if these lands, these old buildings are being, these properties are being bought up. I don't know by who, but East Queen Street, some changes are making, and I mean structurally, the buildings are being repaired, you know, and things are going to change downtown. I'm certain of that. It's just a matter of time. Razzle? Look like as if Razzle has left us. Hello, Razzle. Well, we were talking about the development in downtown Kingston, where we say that things are not going to remain as they are. Things are going to change. It's just a matter of time. Right? Development is going to take place down there, and shortly, what we are seeing now, there are going to be changes, serious changes. So let us hope for the best and do whatever we can to make the downtown a different place. The entire Jamaica, a different place, but we have to do it in stages. Well, we have come to the end of our live programs for today, you know, and we want to thank our viewers and listeners who have paid attention and stayed with us during the day. You can keep your ears to Rebel Radio. You know, Rebel Radio is on air 24/7. And this program will be repeated later. So until Wednesday, stay safe and strong and healthy. This is Rebel Radio. I'm Desmond Richards.
Love in me.